Hi everybody, my name's Simon, this is Better Creating, and today I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process of creating an inspiration and knowledge capture system in Notion that I use every day to collect great things to read, watch and listen to. There's a famous saying which is there are no new creative ideas, or no original ideas. Well, as a creative person, I'm kind of embracing that. I like to think that really creativity is a form of mixology, right? Stay with me on this metaphor for a minute. If you think about cocktail making, it's about taking inspiration and ideas from different places, gathering those ingredients and remixing them into something new. Of course, the thing is, you need a place to collect, store and have available the ingredients to do that. What's the solution? Well, I think it's my bibliography of inspiration created as a database in Notion. If you work in knowledge or creativity, this system might just change your creative life. So in this video, we'll unpick first of all what this system needs to do to really help us collect ideas in a meaningful way that's actually useful. And then secondly, we're going to dive into Notion and I'm going to show you step by step how to create your own bibliography of inspiration. And it doesn't take that long. In my last video on Notion, I go through the process of building a task and project management system using Notion. So you might want to go and check that out first if it interests you, and then come back here and you can add this section onto it and start to build your own. And on that note, I've also got a big video on productivity that basically outlines how I'm using Notion to manage my life and all my creative projects. Better Creating is all about simplifying creative life to make more meaningful content and live more intentional, stress-free lives in the process. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It just means that my videos will pop up in your feed more regularly. Loads more content on simple living, creativity, productivity, and a little bit of stuff on video. And by the way, if it's looking a bit different to you and you've been here before, more on what's going on here in another video. So I used to note down and collect ideas in notebooks, on scraps of paper, emailing them to myself, and it didn't really work. It was great at the moment when I was inspired and found something exciting, but I didn't really ever refine them. So I wanted to create myself a system that actually meant that the content I was consuming, reading, watching, listening to was actually coming back to me and being useful and actually feeding into more new creative outputs of my own. And that's why I decided to create this in Notion. It's inspired by work with a theatre company that I've done where they create things called bibliographies of inspiration in the way that they create productions and research for productions. It's also inspired by Tiago Forte's digital second brain, the idea of creating a system, a brain that supports yours. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been remixing his concepts and creating a system that works for me. Using Notion, you can create customized, specific and curated databases that you can use for yourself in whatever way you want. For me, creativity is a way of looking at things and about how you make connections and solve problems. It's not simply about being original and conjuring something out of nothing. Most of the productions I've created are remixes and reworkings of existing ideas and observations, whether they're conscious or unconscious. As creative people, as artists, we observe the world and then we respond to it. So to the same end, as a creative person, I embrace the fact that what I do is find inspiration and get inspired by other things that are out there. The other side of this creative balance is the need to find ways to attack the blank page, how to eliminate that feeling of needing to make something from nothing. I want to collect and have a rich, plentiful collection of ideas and inspiration and knowledge from which I can start to create. And it's these two things that my bibliography of inspiration does for me. It's a place to collect inspiration, gather great ideas, and then be able to sort, search, refine and repurpose those ideas through filters and links in order to channel them into my own creative outputs, whether that's making this video for you or creating a new piece of theatre. So what do we want to be able to do with this system that we're building? If we know what the goal is, we can build the system to support it, right? Well, number one, I want to be able to easily and simply capture the ideas and inspiration that resonates with me without having to think about it wherever I am. I'm going to need to be able to organise those things I've captured in an understandable way so that I can refine them later when I want to find them. I also want a place within the system to put things that I'm excited by and that could be interesting but I haven't actually consumed yet. I'm going to want to be able to make clear, useful connections between different pieces of material. I want to be able to see patterns and join things up. Perhaps most importantly, I want to channel the captured ideas and inspiration and references into meaningful output in the projects that I'm doing. So I'm going to need this content to link to my own projects. Based on that, there are some functions we're going to need to build in Notion. Let's get over to the computer and build it. So this is the personal home that we created in the previous Notion video I put out. If you're interested in knowing more about this, then make sure you check that video out. And if you're moving on from it, we're going to continue building in this same productivity system dashboard that we've already got. So under our system, we're going to put a new thing. So we're going to do / and we're going to do a new table. We're going to put it in, and here it is. This is the beginning. We're going to name it. You can call it what you like. It could be your knowledge base. You could call it your calendar of inspiration, whatever you need it to be. As I said in my previous video, I think joy is the catalyst to creativity and productivity. So let's add an icon. It can be that for now, and I'm going to add a cover. Let's put a cover in. And to do that, we can just go to change cover, use Unsplash. We'll put in library maybe, that's quite nice. That's a nice image. So we've got the name, I think that's fine, we'll leave that as it is. Tags, we're going to leave that as it is. It's a multi-select, so this is just a basic table. The multi-select is really useful because what I can now put in here for tags is, if it's like, say, a book or a podcast or whatever. So let's just do that as an example. I'm going to say book, I'm going to do podcast. But also in this, you might want to list things like productivity, fitness, it might be business, personal growth, whatever you want it to be. Now, if you just list them into there, that's a very easy way to do it. If I then delete them all, as I click on it, I have options to do it. So that is a way of filtering, and I tend to make the tags build based on how I put stuff in. So we're going to need that. Files we don't need. So we're going to turn this one into the linked databases later on, and we're going to add another, and we're just going to leave that as text. In fact, why don't we turn them both to text for now, so we know that they need to be that. So we go to there and click text. Oh, here we go. I'm going to rename it. I'm going to make this link later. We'll do that in a bit. And if you've got a second database, you could do that as well. Link later. Great. We're then going to want a URL. Now that is an option. If you click in, there's URL under property type. Put that in. That allows us, I'm going to call that link. That allows us to find it. And you'll see later when you populate it, it works really well. We're going to want to put complete, like whether we've watched it or not. So I'm going to put watched. So there you go. Watched, listens, read. Have you done it all? That's in there. And that needs to be a checkbox. Because what's useful here is it allows us to tick it off when we've done it. And then I'm going to want a status. Now this is another, if we go back in, this should be a multi-select, that's how I'm doing it anyway. And we're going to make this one status. And in status, we need to list a way to link it to other things. So for now, what we're going to put in together is we're going to put in BOI, so it's in the bibliography of inspiration. Create that. Also, we're going to do on reading list. I've got currently consuming because that allows me to put stuff that I am going to look at. So on reading list is to look at it soon. Currently consuming is I'm currently viewing it, and in bibliography of inspiration is if it's keepable. Now we want one more, which is not BOI. So that basically allows us to have a search that is we liked it, but we read or watched or listened to it, but we didn't want to put it in. So it's stuff that's been on the reading list that we don't need to put in. You've got your statuses, so we can delete all of those from that, and we've got an option. Great, so there's the basics. Now what we need to do is create our reading list. So let's go back to personal home. And what we're going to do here is create a new page. Just make it a page. We're going to call this reading list. You can call it what you like, but that's what I'm going to call it. And we're going to create a linked database. So /create. There's the linked database. We find it, and what we want it to be is bibliography of inspiration in personal home. Now that's now going to do a copy of what it was. Now this is really helpful because what we can do here is under status, let's just make this full page, it really helps. Full width up the top. Now we can filter this so that we only see stuff that isn't in the bibliography of inspiration, yeah? So what we're going to do is we're going to click on status, we're going to add a filter, and where status does not contain in BOI. Now what that means is everything you put into here then will be on your reading list, other than the stuff that's in the bibliography of inspiration. So your reading list then purely becomes a place for stuff you're consuming, stuff you've consumed but didn't want to put into the inspiration list, and stuff that you want to consume. So it's the place you go to read the bibliography of inspiration. The main database is where you view that in order to look at content and play with it. Let's add an icon to that for now. It's a hat, who cares? Let me just mess around with this for a minute. So there's your reading list. Let's just look at my personal home. Now, I just want to clean up my system here a little bit, because actually I would suggest that if we just drop system down, we need a new section which is actually about ideas capture. Yep, so I'm going to put a /, I'm going to do heading 2. In fact, I quite liked putting a little, so if you do that and then just put 3 little dashes, you then get that line underneath, which is rather nice. I'm going to take my bibliography as inspiration and move it up, and I'm going to move my reading list up above that, because that tends to be the place where I'm going to input stuff. So that's just clean that up. I just think it really helps. And obviously as you build things, you want to know where, you want to have a system to the way something looks. Here are 3 simple ways to capture. My first inbox is going on my phone, into Safari, finding the thing that I want to look at, and then simply you click the share button in the bottom there, and click on Notion if it's installed on your phone. Really easy. You can add it to the page you want, the bibliography of inspiration. So I just find it, and what's great about this is on the go I can link anything that I found straight in. So there you go, I just click add. The second version, here's a podcast, same thing on the Apple podcast system here. I just click share, find Notion, and it works in most apps. You know, I can click onto the button, find the bibliography of inspiration again, type in what it's called, and hey presto, it's saved. There's one more thing we should consider. We've input obviously from the internet, we've input from something like my podcast app, but we also might want to be doing it on our home screen, our actual productivity dashboard where we have an idea of that thing. Not everything comes up with a link or watching at the time. It might be a book that we've remembered in our head. So we need to create an inbox for that here. Now really quickly, you'll see I've created one for my tasks, which we were making, and that simply works by, it's filtered under related project, that related project is empty. And what that means is that nothing here, I can put all of this information in, but until I assign it to a project, it won't drop down and disappear into the system. Now I can do exactly the same for the bibliography of inspiration. Why don't we here call this ideas capture? I'm going to put here, I'm going to do / create link database, my favorite thing on Notion, and I want to find the bibliography. Now that's giving us a direct copy of what we've made on the other page, and we just need to pick what it is that will, once it's completed, we know that it will drop into the system. Now I would suggest that's probably status. Under status, I'm going to add a filter, and when status is empty, and you'll see there's nothing there now. So let's just have an example. I'm going to put in here Essentialism. It's really simple, yeah? I've just written it in. I haven't got a link, any of that, I just want to remember it. Now, I could leave it there and then it will just stay there. Let's say I've managed to put the link in, I've done what I need to do with it, and I'm currently reading it. I can click on status, I can put currently consuming, and it disappears. And now you'll see as when I go to my reading list, it should be in there. There it is. Yeah, so again, another way to filter things and to have an inbox at the top of your page for your bibliography of inspiration. We've got our tasks from that previous video here and projects that it links to over here. I can just show you that really quickly. So there's my project list and these are the tasks that relate to them. So they're related databases. Let's now link this list, the project list, with the bibliography of inspiration. And that's really simple. We're going to go to the bibliography of inspiration, which is our main database. You'll see there the thing we put in when we captured stuff. And there's a load of extra things here now. So we're going to click this link later section. I'm going to turn it into a relation. We did this previously. And it's simple as that. Select a database. I would like that to be my project list. I search my project list. That's it there. Click on that. Create relation. And you can see it's done it now because of that little arrow. Now I'm going to name what this is. Okay, so that's now really clear. Now when I click on that, what you'll see is those projects from my project list come up and I can link it. So this 1000 True Fans, let's say it's linking to promoting the film shoot with Erica that I've made up. I can add it to that. Now you'll see that's worked. Now if we go and click actually on it and go through to that project, you'll see that related to bibliography, you'll see that the research is there. And that's what's so great about it. So when I go to my project page, I'll actually see stuff come up and that's such a useful thing. Now if you noticed, I had a second link later section here. And the reason that is that this is where I manage my YouTube videos, and one of the main ways that I use this bibliography of inspiration at the moment is to collect research for the videos that I'm creating. So I'm actually going to just link it to that as well. So here, I'm going to call this related. I do exactly the same thing. Click on it, turn it into a relation, select a database, and I'm going to do project database. That is for the Better Creating dashboard. I can click on that, create a relation. All of the videos that I'm making come up. So it means now I can just link these to the videos, and then when I go into the videos, we end up with references. So if I actually click on the video that we're doing at the moment, you'll see those are my 2 bits of research from my bibliography of inspiration, my knowledge base that I'm using, building a second brain and the power method. 2 things you should check out, by the way. And I might want to set a filter here. For the reading list, we filtered everything but the bibliography of inspiration. For this one, we need to add a filter and make sure it's when status contains in bibliography of inspiration. But that means that only stuff that we've said this is worthy of my inspiration database will go in here. So now then, if we go back to our reading list, you'll see that this is in here. If I now give it a status and say, if I just put it as currently consuming, it stays here, yeah. But if I change it to bibliography of inspiration, it disappears. And you'll see if I then go back to the bibliography of inspiration, it's now in that. There are various ways we can filter this. Let's just have a little look at using tags. Now, this is quite obvious. I would say it was a blog post. So we're going to add that as a thing. And this is a podcast. Yeah. Now what's great about tags is it allows us to filter by it and just look at things that are in the same thing. So I can create, and you may have seen this in the previous video with my tasks, I can create a board view. I'm going to create that. There it is. At the moment, the board view is grouped by status, and that's fine, we could do that, but I actually want to group it by tags. Once I've grouped it by tags, you'll see that this one comes up under podcasts and this one comes up under blog posts. If we made this, if we added to this and gave it another tag, let's just do that, and let's say it's also a blog post, you'll see that then that is listed under blog posts as well. So again, the board view allows me, and I could rename the board view to be, there, so it's my connections board. It means that I can see things that are related. Now, this might be that it's, you know, it's on a subject, or it might be the type of content. On my connections board, I have all the connections I can make. I've got tags, I've got the status of it, I have the projects it's related to, it's the main view, but also, of course, I can search. Let's say it's about, what's this one about? Creative control. If I write in control, obviously, it just keeps that one. So a really, really powerful system of searching and being able to use this to output your own content from using what you've got on the page. Check it out. In these last 2 videos, we've now created a reading list, a bibliography of inspiration that are linked, that are also linked to our project list, yeah, with all of our projects that are linked to our tasks that have an inbox. This whole thing is a fantastic automated system to allow us to have more productive control over our creativity. Nice. Back on the sofa? I think, yeah, great. Hopefully by now you've now got a really great connected set of databases to connect your tasks, your projects, and the content and inspiration that really resonates with you. If it's been useful, if you found value in this video, make sure you hit the like button and do comment below. Let me know how you're using Notion, what other things you'd like to see me cover on productive creativity and creative productivity. That's quite good. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's the best way you can support the channel to rise to the top and make sure that my videos pop up in your feed. And as ever, you know, thanks for stopping by. It's been nice to hang out. I'll see you in another video, and whatever happens,